Welcome back to Flywheel Films. I'm not at my house, I'm somewhere else, and I don't have my car either. I have my dear friend Chris here, and his Miata, Miatas, plural. You have two of them. You have a Miata problem. Actually, you have a Miata solution.
I have a Miata solution.
And NA Miata guy, which is cool, because I do want more NA Miata stuff on the channel because, well, that's the classic. That's like the quintessential Miata when people think of Miata, right?
Right, with pop-up headlights.
Exactly. And we're gonna look at this car specifically and do an installation on some taillights. So Chris, yes, taillights. This car is not a stock NA Miata, far from it in fact. And we are going to be installing these lights, which I have actually done a very similar thing to my car here. And these are the Carbon Miata, I guess V3, is that what they're called?
Yes, sir.
So the exact same type of light in my car, which is really cool. I'm really curious to see how the assembly and installation is compared to mine. I imagine similar, but these are the same type of quad LED situations, and is for NA 89 through 97, so NA 6 or NA 8, or this NA, which we should show the ladies and gentlemen. And we should also pop the headlights.
Let's do
because
that.
I think this is very intentional. You've done a lot of things to this car. A lot of things have been done. Here's the front headlights, not your typical taller, circular, classic NA. This is actually my favorite style though of NA headlight because I just think quad lights look cool. Quad taillights will look cool. And really quick, looking at what you have right now, these are not factory either, right?
No, sir.
So what do you have? Where do they come from and why are you getting rid of them?
These are the Altezza headlights, and they make two various versions of this. This is kind of the clear-ish, and then with the black surround, but they also make a silver surround around these three.
Right, surround meaning kind of all this extra stuff in here.
Correct.
And you went black because, well, this car is just like, I call it like the Batmobile thing. I don't know what your terminologies are, what your nicknames are for it.
I kind of named it the black in Spanish, so El Negro.
Yep.
Because I've always been in the black with it. It's never been in the red, if you will. And it was named by simply a good friend of ours that thought it was so wild and such an animal that El Negro suited it.
Yeah. Let's explain where the animal thing comes from. You should pop the hood. We're gonna do a whole video on this car, but show me what's under the hood as a teaser.
Certainly.
So that people will stick around and watch the future content, because this is the craziest thing like ever. This is a 5-liter V8 from a Ford of kind of the same era, right?
That's correct. So this is a 93 302 out of a Ford Mustang, a GT series. And the reason why this is kind of unique is that it has the GT40 heads. It has the original plenum that it's supposed to have. But it fits in a Miata very nicely thanks to Martin of Monster Miata. And the beauty of this is I had the top end done, and when I mean top end, that means it's been bored 20 over, so it's a little bigger pistons, bigger rings, and it's got a cam, an E303 cam. So when I start it, in the next video, you'll see it actually jump or lurch with a big heavy looping cam. It's quite magical, and the animal side of it, as you can see, there's a little cobra symbol here.
Yep.
And I've got little cobras stashed all over the car.
Yeah, they're kind of hidden all over the place. It's kind of fun. So, yeah, more to come on that. Stay tuned. Hopefully that's enough of a teaser for people to, like, subscribe, whatever. the usual stuff. But yeah, just to add to the meanness of this cool Miata is where these taillights come in. So they were provided by Carbon Miata. I think there must be some partnership with Archaic because that's where mine came from, and they're basically the same thing. So I think that's pretty cool. There are other variations as well. I think like a V2, some other things, to each their own.
Yeah.
There's cool to have options.
Yeah, there's a V1 that I don't know if it's any, or no longer available, I'm not sure, but the V2, it looks very similar to sort of an ND taillight.
Yeah.
With the sort of round ring and then like kind of a line. And I still wanted to kind of keep the factory look that you see with standard Miata taillights, like the one on this one.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing, this is sea green. Another Miata we will also be filming at some point, which is supercharged.
Correct.
Think OEM plus plus plus. Like
OEM plus plus plus. That one has the MP62, the Eaton blower. It's
Yep.
a little larger than the typical smaller one that folks have.
So
It's a little
cool.
bigger.
So cool. So we'll get these unboxed. We'll show you guys how to install them. Pretty basic, you know, short-ish, to the point installation video, but still having fun commentary because that's what we do here. Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. Too bad it's not black, you know.
There's easy ways to fix that, my friend. There's easy ways to fix that.
All right, so Chris got some tools and also the instruction manual, which we'll showcase really quick here. Really nice instruction manual. Pictures, steps, more than what my car had. Maybe they're coming out with that, I don't know, but my car didn't have this when I put it in. But yeah, nice, fairly simple installation. This Miata they're using is really cool too. Interesting spoiler and stuff. And that's how it looks. And this is also a good step, by the way. Don't fully reassemble everything until you test it, because if you have an issue, you don't want to unassemble it and then, you know, go through that whole thing. So that's a good step. Maybe that should be in the beginning, I don't know. And they even have a troubleshooting section. But let's go back to the very, very front of this, because there's kind of a diagram that shows, yeah, right here. So this is similar to mine, where there's kind of the main plug that we'll use to plug it in. Connection, startup animation is optional, so you can undo that or keep it on. I get a lot of comments on mine, so I just figured I left mine on, but it's optional, which is cool. And then there's resistors for, you know, it's common for LED stuff. Really nice packaging, by the way. We didn't really mention that, but it's really, really nice. You know, didn't feel worried about transit or anything, because it's nicely packed in there. So I guess we'll start with accessing the lights, which looks like pretty easy in your case, but sometimes in various cars depends on fabric and stuff in the front of it. But yeah, we're just gonna get to the back of the lights, and usually they're pretty easy to remove. It's not that complicated.
A 10 mil.
10 mil is your friend. Don't lose it.
One thing I like to do is to undo the bolts first before I disconnect the wire, simply in case the tail light jumps back out, they're still attached to the wire.
And I guess we'll point out that we are removing the non-factory lighting assemblies, so this could be a little different based on your case, but hey, there's great instructions for a reason. Sweet.
Light out.
Were these like LED, or are these just like a different type of bulb holder?
No, it's a great question. So the assembly that's on a stock Miata, like the one in the garage, is exactly the same. This assembly perfectly suits your regular Miata setup.
Ah,
So when I swapped out the tail lights for the Altezas from the factory, I also took the time to swap out the bulbs so they're LED as well.
cool.
So this whole assembly just simply slots in and slots out, whether it's an Alteza, an aftermarket, or an OEM.
Nice. So here is the void now, and there's the single connector, and that's really all you need. It's basically plug and play. So it plugs in here very clearly. That's the only thing it can plug into. And all of these are the optional things, like we said. So if you unhook this, you would lose your startup animation. You can hook it back in to get that back. And I guess this is the resistor connector, so we'll leave that connected, of course. This, from what we can tell, is actually the optional fog light connection. So you could splice this into your car's existing fog light circuit. That's more prone in European countries where they have rear fogs. Not something we're going to bother with here. So in this case, it is truly single plug and play. Use the same 4 screw holes as before with the same nuts. And it's that easy. It's even easier than mine. I thought mine was easy.
So I'm just gonna put a nut in here to hold it. and a nut to hold it down here. And then we'll plug this in through the simple connection that we see. For those of you that are watching, I also have an additional series of wires for a tow hitch to trailer to the track. So
Super cool.
Now I'm plugged in, simply plugged in. What we might just do is just finger tight these and then turn on the ignition so we can see if we get any new behavior. What do you think?
Yep. Let's do it.
So we won't cinch anything down. We'll just finger tight this.
And we'll show it side by side with the old and new.
Yeah.
Which again isn't really factory, but the old one you had plus new. Oh yeah, the cool startup animation. So it like does the circle thing and then it pulses and then it stays on. Whoop. Angels and airwaves.
Woo!
Do it for me now. Track 3, 2006.
Oh my gosh, I am so old.
No, I don't think you understand. That's like my top song, like my favorite album from like my favorite artist.
Right?
I'm a huge fan. I never hear that song other than when I'm playing it. So
Oh my gosh,
it's kind of fun.
that's great.
What do you think?
I love it.
First
Isn't it
impression?
beautiful?
It is beautiful. And it's bright. It's safe.
It's very bright, and kind of when you stare at the back of the other one, you kind of get a sense that it's not too far away design-wise.
Right. It feels cohesive.
Right, to match the design and shape of the car.
Now on the camera, you know, you folks are seeing it kind of flicker. That's just a LED thing on phones. They're actually solid red to us. It's unfortunate that phones can't. Oh, that's a little better. Phones can't always handle the LED because it's flickering at a certain hertz rate, and that's conflicting with the phone's, I guess, shooting rate. So that's how that looks compared to this. I think it looks super cool. So let's do the other side. Then we'll show the full startup animation. I'll show you. I'll start it so you can watch the whole thing.
Brilliant.
And then easy as that. We'll test all the turn signals, reverse lights, all those things to make sure you have full functionality. It's cool. You have your reverse lights inside, whereas mine was in the middle.
Oh yes.
And that's super, super interesting.
Here, I'll put it in reverse.
Throw it in reverse, Terry. So there's your reverse lights. The outer rings turn signal just like mine. That's pretty sweet. All right, time for round 2. Yeah, I thought mine were easy.
Right? Yours were easy.
They
Don't
were.
get me wrong.
But this was even easier.
Right? We didn't even prep. I might have been in and out of here a couple of times in my life.
That's true. You do know your car after enough
Right.
playing.
Playing and monkeying around with stuff.
Yeah. All right, getting it. Final touches. Looking fantastic. And it's always fun for me as an NC Miata person examining other generations, the variations. I mean, the battery in the back, that's different. And even just like license plate lights coming from the sides, that's different. Just a lot of little things. But it looks like the fitment's pretty good on these. All right, Chris, give me your raw feedback as soon as I put these on.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yes. Whoa! Look at that! Back and forth. Ooh, that is so cool.
Yeah,
That is.
it's just the little things, you know?
Man, it's the small things.
And then,
Yeah, you hit the brakes, or you might turn the key in the ignition.
yep.
The fan will come on. Whoa. Turn signals are on.
You got right signal?
Very cool. Mash the brake pedal. Whoa, look at that. Oh, I love it. Hazards.
Yeah.
So cool. Everyone should buy Carbon Miata taillights, I'm telling you.
So Chris is doing what I did and retaining the light you pulled out, which perfectly fits in the box, conveniently. And then you can store those. Some people sell them, some people keep them around in case, who knows? I mean, if you have the space, it's nice to keep the factory or previous light just in case. Never hurts. But that was pretty easy. So, Chris, final thoughts on a very, I mean, as far as mods go, how do you rate that for ease of installation?
Easy as pie. The simplest you could possibly do. It was 4 bolts and then the connection.
Yep.
Like I said, I tend to loosen the bolts first and then leave the wire connected and hold my hand just in case it doesn't slip out. But beyond that, easy peasy, and the results are fantastic. The fit and finish is much, much better than the Altezas. If you look at the rim here, the edge, it seats properly. There's no gaps. Apologize for the watermarks. But you can see how clear and flush everything is mounted.
Yeah.
The quality is first rate. I would recommend it to all my family and friends.
Yep. Well, glowing review, and it really does suit the car. I mean, seeing those in the back and then seeing these up front, like that's just like a natural combo. So congrats. Your car looks even cooler than it did, and it was already pretty cool looking. And stay tuned, folks, because we have another video coming on all the ins and outs of this beast. Thanks for watching.